Good morning. What a beautiful morning, eh? How precious it is that we choose to gather together. Abundance flows in our being when we focus in on love, care, joy, wisdom, and honor. It is so good to be together. Let's sing hymn number 22 in the gray hymnal. Dear weaver of our lives' design, please rise as you are able in body and our spirit.
All good? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Nicholas. I wonder what the people on Zoom did back when they first built this church. Anyway, welcome to First Parish in Milton. My name is Lisa White, and I'm a member of our worship committee. Everybody's hearing well now, but if you're having trouble on Zoom, please just use the chat function to message us, and we can adjust the sound. We are so glad that you've chosen to be here with us this morning, whether in person or virtually. However your journey, whatever your heritage, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. Whether you're here in person or joining us via Zoom, your presence here on Sunday morning enriches worship for everyone. This sanctuary is made holy by your presence. Thank you to those who've helped out with worship this morning, our greeters, Deb and Bill Kelly, social hour hosts, Guy Pugh and Steve Yakutis, and Deb Kelly for the flowers, and Nicholas, saving the day, our audio tech. If you're joining us for the first time, a special welcome. You'll find information about First Parish in your pew, and one of the greeters or I would be happy to walk over with you to our social hour after the service and answer any questions that you might have. The work of living our faith is done both in and out of worship, so I call your attention to our announcements. There are some in your order of worship, and they're emailed out in the link every Thursday. In particular, this Saturday, Milton Community Concerts will present its 11th annual Sing for Their Supper. It's a free benefit concert. Sunday, not Saturday, November 16th at 3 p.m. here in the Meeting House. 10 singers will be featured in a program of opera favorites and familiar musical theater selections, and it's all to benefit the Milton Food Pantry and the Milton Residence Fund. For those 100 or so of you who were here last night for the Harvest Supper, everybody seemed to have a good time, and it's not possible to name all the volunteers. It took a lot of people, but thank you to the Hospitality Committee in particular who put it all together. Yes. Now let's take a few minutes to greet one another and extend a warm welcome to old friends and new. And if you're on Zoom, please turn on your video and go to the gallery view so you can say hello to others zooming in.
Hello.
Hi there. How are you
Hi.
doing?
Hey, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah, good. Deb, you're home. That's nice to see.
He's home. Yes.
Yay.
Yay. That's awesome. Nice to see everyone.
Nice
You
to
too.
see. Good morning to everybody.
We
Good
missed.
morning.
Good morning, Peggy.
Hey, Peggy.
How are you doing, Bibi?
Well, next coming Tuesday, I should be able to start bearing weight. That'll be 4 weeks. So I'll be
Yay.
in PT and a boot. And
I bet it's been a long 4 weeks.
it has been an exhausting 4 weeks. I'm really tired of this, but
I'm sure you
it's all,
are.
yeah, it's healing well. They're all very happy with how I'm doing. So once I'm
Great.
Good.
my
Glad to hear
wheelchair
it.
and crutches and knee scooter and actually walk will be a big so looking forward to it. Jim, where are you? Are you at home?
I am at home. Mary's been there for God knows how long already, and
Yeah.
I just couldn't get myself together to get out of the house. So I decided I've got a computer. I won't try now. I will just go sign on.
Good.
Good.
Okay, please
Pat, you're
join
not
us
in a
for
car-
social
Pat, you're
hour
not in a
after the
car for
service,
once.
and you
Getting
can
ready
continue
to get in the car.
socializing.
Okay. Bye.
As
Bye.
we
Bye,
enter
everybody.
into
Bye-bye.
worship,
Bye.
Bye-bye.
please take a moment to make sure your cell phone is silenced. Now is the moment when we can focus on being here, when we can choose to connect with ourselves and with the divine, when we can choose to just be present. I'd like to invite Adeline to come up and help me light the chalice this morning. Go ahead, both hands. Nice. Hard. It's a village. Each Sunday, we light the chalice as a reminder that even in an unpredictable world, the flame continues to shine, a corner of warmth and awareness where we, the members of this faith community, can find comfort, support, and connection to one another. Now please join me in saying the call to worship, which is text number 1 on the card in your pew rack. Come, let us gather. We gather to celebrate the sacred within and among us. We come to seek spiritual growth and understanding. We strive to practice acceptance, forgiveness, and love. Together, we work to build a world with justice and compassion. Come, let us gather together.
So our DRE, Susanna Bales, is doing a Loretta conference, which is the Liberal Religious Educators Association. So she's learning, and we'll come back with things to share with us. This morning, I thought I'd do a story from Peace Tales, because we're going to talk a little bit about why people might choose to go to war and why we need to stop doing that. So that's what we're going to be talking about here. And this is a story about the neighbor's shifty son. A farmer once lost his axe. He felt certain that his neighbor had stolen the axe. He watched that neighbor with suspicion. He noticed that the neighbor's son seemed as shifty as his father. That boy looked just like a thief. The farmer knew he could not trust either of them. One day when he visited a distant field where he sometimes worked, the farmer discovered his axe. He had left it behind, and last time he worked in that field. When the farmer returned home, he noticed his neighbor's son at play. The boy looked absolutely normal now. There seemed nothing shifty or suspicious about him at all. So I know that probably most of us have had experiences where someone, for some reason, thinks of us in a certain way, and we don't know why, and it isn't true. Has anybody ever felt that way, been accused of something that, they didn't do, or, I mean, sometimes it could be as easy as you're walking along and someone says hello to you, you don't hear them, so they think, oh, what a snob, what an awful person for not saying hello back, right? My mother had that because she had meningitis when she was 19, so she lost her hearing in one of her ears. So if anybody ever said hello to her over here, she didn't hear them, and she'd walk on, and they would think that she was just, so snobby for not doing that. So we never know. We don't really know why people are doing things. And sometimes we do things ourselves, like lose an axe and then think someone else stole it, right? So what are some things that farmer could have done that maybe would have made him not have those awful days where he thought his neighbors were terrible, awful people? What do you think? What could that farmer have done? Yes, Grace. Retrace his steps, right. Make the first assumption that maybe I lost it, not maybe someone stole it. Nice. Anyone else? What else might one do to try and stop? Yes. There you Right. Right. To think a little further rather than the immediate sort of negative, to say, wait a minute, were they anywhere near my axe at any time? Nice, very nice. Yes? Right, very nice. When did you last have the axe, and was it anywhere near them? In other words, think about what happened rather than who might have done this to you. What else? What might, yes, Dottie? You could go talk to the person. You could ask them. Be a neighbor. Did you see my axe, or did you borrow my axe? Right? So that's one thing that we need to sort of train ourselves to do, to not be, to not be negative first, to sort of think, how might this be a problem, and how might I solve it before who's to blame, right? So that's what we're going to talk about a bit today. All right, let's sing Children to Their Classes. is a time for stillness in community where we can nourish our bodies and our being by just breathing through. I wanted to ask you to turn to the teal hymnal 1048, because we'll just go right into it. And let me just read the words. They're Latin. Ubi caritas et amor, ubi caritas Deus ibi est. We're going to do it 3 times. By then we'll have the wonderful chant, which is where charity and love abound, God is there, or here. So let's just have ourselves settle into our bodies. Let our bodies have some time.
The reading this morning is an excerpt from The Universe Responds, or How I Learned We Can Have Peace on Earth, in Living by the Word by Alice Walker. The universe responds. What you ask of it, it gives. The military-industrial complex and its leaders and scientists have shown more faith in this reality than have those of us who do not believe in war and who want peace. They have asked the earth for all its deadlier substances. They have been confident in their faith in hatred and war. The universe, ever responsive, the earth, ever giving, has opened itself fully to their desires. I remember when I used to dismiss the bumper sticker, "Pray for peace." I realize now that I did not understand it, since I also did not understand prayer, which I know now to be the active affirmation in the physical world of our inseparableness from the divine. And everything, especially the physical world, is divine. War will stop when we no longer praise it or give it any attention at all. Peace will come wherever it is sincerely invited. Love will overflow every sanctuary given it. Truth will grow where the fertilizer that nourishes it is also truth. Faith will be its own reward. We are indeed the world. Only if we have reason to fear what is in our own hearts, need we fear for the planet. Teach yourself peace. Pass it on.
Humanity, as far as history tells, has never been without war, at least not for very long, not for any one generation. So the paradigm shift from war to peace is a call for a new awakening, a state of being not fully known in this world. This is not the first call for peace, however. In fact, the call for a different way of engaging in conflict and resolving differences is as old as the pattern of war. This makes it even harder to believe in a cultural shift, to enter into new territory. It makes it hard to sacrifice our way of being for what we have faith we can become. And sacrifice is a part of the journey, one that countless people have made war after war after war on the battlefield, in the homes of soldiers' loved ones, and amongst activists for peace. In fact, all of humanity sacrifices its progression toward global community with incessant wars. We have the ability for widespread mutuality and the inborn knowledge of our inherent kinship, but we deny harmony and interdependence by continuing the logic of war, the lure of combat. We all know the presenting reasons for war: revenge, power, land, religious zeal, greed, preservation of culture, hatred, fear, and grandiosity. We all know the tactics of retaliation. They hit us first, and now imprinted in our recent history, thanks to the United States, the tactic of the preemptive strike. We'll get them before they get us. We all know the hopes of nations: freedom, prosperity, preservation of values, hope for future generations. One powerful lure is the argument for our nation's best interest. It's a phrase that implies any means necessary to maintain survival of a way of living. It also implies that the ends justify the means, one of the main slippery slopes that lead us to destruction, oppression, dehumanization, torture, and denial. If the hoped-for result is the only thing in view, then however we get there is sanctified. A month before the U.S.-led preemptive strike invading Iraq, Kofi Annan, then the UN Secretary General, urged in a speech to the students of William and Mary to keep a larger vision in view. I hope all of you, whatever your profession, he offered, will be seeking to serve the public and to contribute to the welfare not only of your country, but of all your fellow human beings, especially those who live in poverty and misery on other continents and yearn for lives free from want and free from fear. Kofi Annan's plea demonstrates the massive difference between nation building, which resonates with the logic of war, and peace building, which resonates with the logic of global community, mutual worth. Indian journalist Gautam Sen offered a TED Talk recently on what he calls polemomania, or addiction to war. We've convinced ourselves that it's part of the human condition, he says, pointing out that we need to move from a form of self-destruction, which is what addiction is, to a perspective of our species as a whole, mutual worth. Another powerful lure in human nature is impatience and entitlement. We want, and we want it now. More often than not, we feel we have to do something, that our feelings require action, and that anything other than aggression is hopeless. Our need to win is another attitude that lends itself to war. Compromise is seen as weak. Winning is seen as the only acceptable solution. But when we get right down to it, winning what? If we're thinking of our species as a whole, winning what? Once we engage in warfare, it's very hard to disengage. There are deaths to avenge and lives to protect. There's pride to maintain and boundaries to claim. There are strangers to fear and freedom to preserve. There's heroism to claim and enemies to demonize. The lure of combat continues because if we stop, we would then have to see the devastation we've caused, the diseased minds we've inspired, even in ourselves, and the broken lives we have created. The closest we come as a nation to encourage intentional review of the cost of war and the need for peace are the observances of Veterans Day and Memorial Day. Veterans Day is this Tuesday. And I wanted to ask if there are any veterans in the room or people who have loved ones who are veterans or family members who are veterans to please stand for a moment. Thank you for your service. Veterans Day can help us learn more of the way toward peace if we stay focused on the cost of war, lifting up the bravery and sacrifice without encouraging more to occur. Honoring the lives of veterans, whether thriving, disabled, or dead, is to honor the debt we owe them for their service, a sacrifice our culture encourages. We can honor them by seeking peace to stop the use of human life in this way. There are many reasons why veterans choose to risk their lives for the cause of war. To give of oneself to a larger purpose is a gift of heart and soul that cannot be fully measured. We can honor this by embracing the life we have, knowing we did not earn it on our own. Veterans Day can be a call to gather up our own strength and courage to create a path toward peace, a path that no longer requires destruction, murder, demonizing, the dismissal of collateral damage, environmental assault, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Karl Marlantes of the United States Marine Corps wrote a book entitled What It's Like to Go to War. He wrote, "The violence of combat assaults psyches, confuses ethics, and tests souls." He goes on, "These compromises and violations are not generally discussed, and their impact on a warrior's mental health and soul is minimized or even ignored entirely, not only by current military training, but by society at large." End quote. U.S. Marine Corps. That does not have to be. We can do better than this. The incredible gifts of service call us to be better than this. A Calvin and Hobbes cartoon starts out with Hobbes holding a rubber dart gun, asking Calvin, how come we play war and not peace? Calvin paused and answered, too few role models. I've always wondered why we do battle reenactments rather than more reenactments like the Edmund Pettus Bridge Memorial Walk, which commemorates the 1965 Bloody Sunday March of the Civil Rights Movement advocating for voting rights. How about creating enactments of astounding creative moments, or times when the cultural shift to peace or justice could be glimpsed just a little? How does war benefit us? What is it that keeps us fighting? What do we refuse to give up as humans to truly welcome peace? What do we have to give up when we move from war to peace? We'd have to give up the drama of war. Drama is created through conflict, so in war, we're invested in having opposing points of view or incompatible ways of being. Your side and my side, and let's not forget God's side, which is very toxic. friends and enemies, right and wrong, good and bad, righteousness and evil. What did Jesus try to say to dismantle the lure of combat? Love your enemies. Still doesn't make sense to most of us. But that's one thing we have to learn to understand to move past this addiction to war. An ad for the network of spiritual progressives took a step toward articulating the change needed by proclaiming, when Jesus said, love your enemies, we think he probably meant, don't kill them. What else might we have to give up? Our focus on the flaws of others, our need to control others, our need to force matters to a conclusion, our need to win, our need to be special. There are real dangers in the world, and at this place in our shared consciousness, there are people who do others harm on purpose. We do need protection from malice. We do need to stop feeding malice, which is forever hungry. In our fear of others, our fear of difference, we come to the distortion of wanting the whole world to ourselves, wanting all people to behave as we think they should. We back this up with religious doctrine and selective history and ceremonious appeals to pride, revenge, heroism, and self-interest. The tough work of peace is to find a way to share. Share land, share resources, share sensibility, share information for the good of all. Many of us, especially in the United States, would have to give up exclusive privileges that we enjoy. For if we want peace, we must calm fear and wanting. We must feed the hungry and educate the children. We must share opportunity and honor interdependence. We must assume that each being on this planet deserves the same mutual regard, the same opportunities to live. This doesn't come from telling others what to do, but hearing what, in truth, people need and responding as a shared humanity on earth. This would create a world far different than the one we have now. We're capable of creating a world generated by peace, not tomorrow, probably not even in our lifetime. But the tides can turn today. The will towards peace can gain momentum today. The rejection of war as a way of being can begin today. We can try and stop feeding malice. Let's do it for our veterans, which starts by taking care of what war has done to their lives. Gratitude is not enough. We need to transform the lure of combat to the celebration of all life and heal brokenness, not look away. We do not have all the answers. There's no complete model of this new world we seek. We simply need to will it into being and learn as it grows in our lives, knowing we are to face paradigm shifts, periods of wilderness, and disorientation. But we will also gain wisdom, open heart by open heart, as to the ways to help administer a world of peace and goodwill. As Taoist founder Lao Tzu reminded us thousands of years ago, when it is true in the heart, it expands to the neighbor, then the city, then the nation, then the world. So may it be. Amen. Let us sing hymn number 95 in the gray hymnal, There Is More Love Somewhere. Let us join our hearts in the spirit of prayer. Holy One of all being, known in many ways and by many names, the spark of light within and in all being, come to our knowing. Help us understand harmony, how all of life can thrive. Help us take joy in others as in ourselves. Help us to know that change can happen and that our love and care can bring it forth. Let us be gentle in our brokenness and be gentle towards all brokenness and bold in our compassion. And a local prayer offered by Cynthia Guys, a reminder that this week our wonderful great oak on the corner of Thatcher and Canton will be cut down with love and gratitude for the couple hundred of years of giving life. And for all the local prayers, deeply felt but unspoken, let's surround them in love. Amen.
Today's offering will be going to Reclaim Our Vote, and Natalie Monroe will speak on their behalf.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me okay? Good. So, as many of you know, Reclaim Our Vote focuses on outreach to Black, Indigenous, and other communities of color, especially in states where voter suppression and voter roll purges have been the most aggressive. Their work is both nonpartisan and deeply equity-driven. They partner with local faith-based organizations and community groups to reach voters who are often underrepresented and disenfranchised. In 2024, for example, the organization helped voters navigate complex and growingly more restrictive voting requirements. They helped register and mobilize hundreds of thousands of voters for the 2024 elections, especially in states where access to the ballot was most at risk. They sent more than 1 million handwritten postcards, each one a personal reminder that someone cares about your voice and your vote. And this is very familiar to many of us here because we at First Parish have been part of that postcard writing effort. We've hosted postcard writing parties in our homes and right here in the parish hall. For the 2024 election alone, we wrote almost 1,000 postcards encouraging voters to vote and reminding them that their vote matters. Supporting Reclaim Our Vote is one tangible way we can live our values of justice, equity, and hope. Thank you.
So twice a month, our offering is given to an organization whose work this congregation supports. This is one of the ways we fulfill our mission of helping to build a just and healthy world. To give, please follow the instructions printed in the order of worship or shown on the Zoom screen. And for those of you here in the meeting house, if you have cash or checks, there are collection plates at both entrances. Please support Reclaim Our Vote by giving as generously as you can.
Be kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving the other, even as others have forgiven you. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you. Be put away from you. Away from you. And be kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving the other, forgiving the other, even as others have forgiven you. Be kind.
Please rise as you're able and join in the unison dedication followed by the doxology. May these gifts be transformed into strength for this faith community, into comfort, food, and shelter for those in need, and may we be transformed by generosity.
of our chalice, may the fire of our faith burn wide and deep within. May we follow through in action and word the peace we know in our hearts, the love we know in our days, and honor a veteran this week. Amen.